What up, J Life? Take me to places we can't reach. Dreaming what we supposed to be. And travel through sound, staying connected like auxiliary. Music is our life and rhythm for the optics. See the cameras and light shine. Somewhere ain't supposed to reach a blessing like right now. Been urgent like emergency. Requesting I might block. Resurface like a polish. We mental like fight now. No breaking like a burning bridge. Everybody gone, couldn't follow who's it was meant for this. I never rush just to break entry. The world been open, showing things. The truth is a guidance and I've been compassed. I'm a point of faith. Proof like you watered down. Who's shining through the mic relay? Can't rip if you a fan. Cause we spin in real life, get blown today. Words knock on the table, my blunt. Erase the coldest days. J left cause it's chaos to the third eye. Gets awakened haste. No more burning process, just taking time so you make it there. Boxed up when I'm cruising, the hard stripe so you know this real. Never did I feel but the spirit aligns, but the devil won't. Better when the world goes against you, your odds in general. I ain't down too sharp, never fitted, recap to plain soul. Fucking with equipped and I'm gassed up, burning pesos. Ready on my grind, burning miles up like I'm headed home. I don't care who not gonna get me cause they can't carry on. Pressure only made for the broken, no cost to sell you phone. Life is destination, what's meant for you till you carry on. Higher than astrology, brighter minds to a catacomb. Poetic message now you know like delivery straight to the mailbox. Tell me where it's from, cause we orchestrated to the damn top. Higher than astrology, brighter minds to the sales top. Places we can't reach, dreaming what we supposed to be. And travel through sound, staying connected like auxiliary. Music is our life and rhythm for the optics. See the camera, the light shine. Somewhere ain't supposed to reach a blessing like right now. Been urgent like emergency, requesting I might block. Resurface like a polish, we just meant to fight now. No breaking like a burning bridge. Everybody gone, couldn't follow, cruising was meant for this.
I was trapped inside a box. I couldn't open the top. I was finding who I was. I was looking for purpose.
What up, Jeff?
I'm living to grow. I'm fighting to live. I'm living on. I'm growing strong. I'm living to win. Motivations in my head. Inspirations in my heart. I'm burning with life. I'm burning with joy. These are the moments.
Get
you
your
enjoy.
snacks. Tag a friend. Tell a friend.
Too much problems putting me down. Too much stress holding me back. Gotta clear my head. I pray to God to ease the pain. Hate is a sin. Gotta trust in my heart. Gotta trust in my dreams. Gotta keep moving on so I can believe. I'm aiming high.
RG all day.
Change. I'm staying true to myself. I'm making my dreams. I'm feeling blessed every day. Never lose focus. Always believe. Listen to your heart. Never give up on what you believe. Just live in faith every day.
I'm feeling so nostalgic right now.
We the places we can't reach. Dreaming what we supposed to be. And travel through sound, staying connected like auxiliary. Music is our life and rhythm for the optics. See the cameras and light shine. Somewhere ain't supposed to reach a blessing like right now. Been urgent like emergency, requesting I might block. Resurface like a polish, we just mental like fight now. No breaking like a burning bridge. Everybody gone, couldn't follow, cruising was meant for this. So what's up, J Life?
What a fucking time to be alive. I'm so
especially on a Monday, right?
On a Monday.
Happy Monday.
I see y'all in the building. Run them likes up. Run them likes up. That song gives me chills, y'all. You know it's gonna be fire when you start off like that. I love you, Milk.
Y'all in the building. What's the word, Joe?
I love you, Milk. I love you, Kalisha. We in the motherfucking building. We just met you. No, you know how you feel about that.
You know what it is. It is a taste of the Mondays. The exotic one in KC in the building. Like, whoa. You know, we came with another topic. We finna get off up into it on tonight. But before we do, y'all know what you need to do. Like and share things up. Tag a friend. Get your mama, uncle, cousin, Terry in the building. You don't want to deprive anybody of this conversation on tonight. I hope you all get fed and hop in them comments so you can pour a little bit back into us.
It's a case of the Mondays. Our goal is to get you fueled up, give you something excited to look forward to at the top of the motherfucking week in this crazy, rough world. We want you to help people go into the week like a boss, ready, excited, prepared. Too many people don't. Too many people live in fear. Too many people live scared. We all have mental health problems. We compartmentalize it. Nah, dog. We're all in this shit. You.
I'm over here liking and sharing this thing up. I'm sending it to 1 million people.
Help us. Where the fuck is J Life? There is no life without J Life when he's
You
in the
already know.
building.
Yo, KC, how was your holiday weekend been going so far?
Oh, sometimes a Monday feels like a holiday in itself, right? Like sometimes we're out in the yard doing all the thing, making sure everybody is good. So sometimes when I tuck into a Monday, it's like what I need to do, got things off the checklist, and I don't have to worry about anybody but that checklist. So we're good either way.
Well, I don't know if y'all get Memorial Day off in Canada. I'm not sure how that works, but I didn't have to go to work today. So today has been an amazing day, but because my weekend was so packed, I ain't want to do shit or be bothered with nothing or be around nobody. I just wanted to decompress.
Me and him watched some wrestling earlier for a little bit of AEW wrestling.
Oh yeah, that's part of my self-care. I put a little wrestling on.
Just a little relaxing with some wrestling. No, we didn't have it off up here. No, we worked. Everybody's out here working hard. I seen everyone out in their yard getting, off at 3:30. The buses were running. The kids were at school. It was just a regular day up here in Canada.
It's a regular day in the greater north.
Yeah.
Jeffy, is that you out there in the? He said, "I'm here. I'm here, guy."
Yeah.
Good old.
That
Jeffy.
was a J Life impersonation, not a Jeffy impersonation.
No, that was a Jeffy impersonation for sure. But
oh, you got to put more respect on Jeffy's name. He coming with so much more energy than that.
I'm here, guys.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know what time it is.
Hi, Jeffy.
So you have a quote of the day for the people here.
I do, because we're gonna be talking about bouncing today, and I ain't talking about a basketball or no flubber.
Bounce.
Success is how high you bounce when you hit the bottom. Yo. I don't know how true that is for y'all, but I've been there before. The only thing that I can really say about it is every time I've been down there, I have bounced a little bit higher. Something about that momentum of an object that goes down got to come back up, especially when it's a bouncy ball or as round and rotund as me.
Well, and even I don't think people think about how deep of a statement that really is. Oh, you kept who made the statement written on there. You funny as hell. But
yeah, I did. I ain't had time to go back and delete.
What up, Elisa? We're here, and we are talking about bouncing back from situations, big situations, little situations in your control, beyond your control, whether it's your fault or otherwise. Today,
it be that shit that give you that cause for pause, and you got to decide what you finna do with it in that moment.
How are you going? Yeah, well, I think one of the hardest things to do in life is be in the present, right? And even what made the start of this episode so special to me, right, was that I was in the present in that moment that we started.
Yo.
And I felt it, and I appreciated the present in that moment.
Oh, we got a J Life sighting. I don't know where he at. He just popped up in my notifications.
Oh God!
Oh, he out there. J Life is active.
Look, it's not even about being calm and collective, because sometimes that's not always the best answer. No. There is a time, and we're not going to sit here and say that you never have to fight for your right.
Hey, she cool like a baby. She keep it level. She said you're not going to get her off her square. She going to stay in her pocket. She don't care if you forget to put the apple pie in the McDonald's bag. She don't care if you walk on her lawn and you don't clean up behind your dog. She don't care about none of that. None of that throw her off her game.
Well, and before we go into specific details of that, right? Shout out J Life. Like we said, there is no life without J Life running it up. And shout out Jeffy, obviously, for running it up. What does bouncing back or handling tough situations, stressful situations well mean to you? Do you think it's something that you do?
Right. Can I dial it back just a little bit and then we can toss it out there? But I think maybe we should start with what are some of the things that could potentially throw your day off?
Oh,
like just
Annie.
a regular, like what are some things where like you just got to be ready? You got to have your bullshit blocker just ready to go.
y'all watching even J Life. What is something that upsets you in a day? Jeffy, Elisa, everybody watching, RG, Shayla, what is something small? Let's start with something small that upsets y'all in a day or that could ruin your day. Oh, wait, look, Elisa's funny. She said, "You right. I snapped at McDonald's last week."
Everybody's been snapping at
now
McDonald's.
We're taking the mask off. Here we go.
Mhm.
Welcome to the show, Alyssa. Appreciate you tapping in tonight.
The
Yeah.
ski mask god.
A lot of the time it starts in the home, right? Like you don't even have to be interacting with people yet
Jeffy
before something
says
goes off.
running late can ruin his whole day.
Sure.
Talk about that, especially for people who got husbands and wives at home or children or
Kids.
whatever might pop off before you even, brush your teeth good.
Yeah. How about when the dryer doesn't dry, right? Like you anticipated, you did all the things, you prepped, you got your clothes ready, you got them in the wash, you put them in the dryer, but maybe you forgot to turn the dryer on.
That's the word. Yeah. Well, and we're at 10. We're at 10 of y'all right.
To put them in the dryer.
We're at 10 of y'all right now. We will be giving away stress balls when we get to 20 viewers. Well, you'll get to choose between a bracelet or a stress ball once we get to 20 viewers. Tag a friend, tell a friend to tell a friend. Bitch. We're here. A case of the Mondays. I personally feel like I used to have a severe list of things that could ruin my day and that I would let ruin my day. And I think sometimes you can deal with it. Is Milk working well for you, Kalisha? Or is he
No, he ain't working. He's glitching and a robot a bit.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's focus on me and you real quick.
That's what it was about anyway. I mean, come on.
I'm sure he'll be right back in here. But yeah. For me, I dealt with it wrong for a long period, for years, and still deal with it, and wasn't aware. At least I'm aware now.
Yeah, that's most of the battle, I think, right? Because it doesn't really matter about how you react in the moment as long as you are aware of how that might affect people around you. Because I know I've reacted poorly, but as soon as I'm aware that that's a thing, you can recover from it.
Do you think so?
Well, I mean, I've been told so, but I guess if you're in the moment and you react great, then you're good from the start, right?
You brought up an interesting perspective when we were talking, but I'll let you start first. What do you feel like? How do you feel like you respond in moments?
I'm selfish. I'm extremely selfish. I find that when faced with frustration, I immediately go to what's going to be like self-serving, self-gratitude, and problem solve, but not necessarily for everybody in that space, which can be ugly, right? Like people, they want you to problem solve for everyone in that space. And I'm like, hey, if I'm in a problem, I'm going to fix it for me right now.
And so what do you think? Because selfish is an interesting word, because I think it can apply a lot, but I think a lot of times people don't even consider how selfish how selfishness plays into their decision making
Right. Well, it can be a
in that
positive
moment.
thing. It
Because
can be a
even,
positive thing.
well, being selfish is, I wanted those fucking hot fries. I don't give a fuck why I don't got those hot
You
fries.
know what's wild though? Is people don't even always acknowledge or are aware of when you're not being selfish.
Right.
Like when you leave for 10 minutes to go get your shit together and you come back. You ain't take the rest of the day off. You ain't just check out. You ain't block everybody. You know what I mean? They don't even acknowledge always the fact that you did what you needed to do to be present, to bring yourself back into whatever it was.
And this is what I mean by being selfish. Like, I'm aware of the things that I need to get myself back in line. So I don't necessarily mean like I'm going to take all of this to make me feel better. I just mean that if I need to like walk away or, you know, have a moment to walk myself through that, that's me being selfish right there in that moment. I'm not being considerate of the people around me. I'm being considerate for myself and my feelings on how I'm going to just be better.
It's really tough. There's a lot of tough grounds in that subject because there's a fine line between dealing with it ASAP and dealing with it when you should, when it's healthy to. And there's a fine line between being selfish and self-care. There's such a fine line. But me personally, by the time you've tried to dictate when we discuss this, 9 arguments out of 9, nah, we talking about this shit now.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I'm not trying to sit on that ugly feeling for hours and hours. And that's what I mean. Like, so that right there is you being selfish. It doesn't mean you're being inconsiderate. It just means that you're like, I'm not going to sit with that gray area or that funky feeling all day or for the next week or for the next year.
Well, I feel like you can only have so much understanding of other people's bullshit. Like, they made a mistake, you know. Or I'll accept the fries.
Right. Eat them without the ketchup.
Oh, dang.
That, but how you respond is important, right? Like, you get all the way to the crib.
What up, Kayla? Miss you. We didn't even see you in the comment section. We were in our... Oh, that's Reva and her just talking in the chat. My bad. All right. Well, shoot. Excuse me. Let us excuse ourselves from that conversation. Go ahead.
Anyway.
But we do miss you, Katie. Go on. We know the milkman misses you.
I have to tell you the truth. I forgot what my point was.
Oh, damn.
That doesn't happen very often. I'm in the middle of still tagging people. I'm trying to get people in the building. What we have to say needs to be heard.
This is I think it's a dope, and it's been an important conversation so far. I've really enjoyed it. Now, we were talking about taking time and being selfish, or, you know, and how to go about having, you know, deciding when to be graceful and have grace and be like, yo.
Oh, that was my point. Yeah. So, like, how you respond to that? Like, do you notice it right away? Do you go back inside? Do you politely ask them to correct their mistake? Do you go in there tripping? You know, I ain't gonna say. I got somebody close to me in my life who I watched for a good portion of my life tell some folks how to do their job. You know what I mean? So, you know, that's a natural response for some people when things don't go as expected. You done paid your hard-earned money to get whatever you was looking to get, and now you got to go in there and let them know about themselves. You know what I mean? And I think that the older I get, obviously the wiser I get, the more I try to practice treating people like human beings, right? We're all fallible. We all make mistakes. That doesn't mean I have bad days. Like, in terms of like responding negatively at a restaurant, the last time I can remember doing that, I was with a couple of my cohorts at the time. It was already a rough day. The chick didn't bring me no coffee when I wanted it. We was at the end of the meal about to pay the ticket. And when she asked me, did I want some more? And I was just like, yeah, I wanted some more 20 minutes ago, but I'm good now.
You
Yeah.
did not.
You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
so it's like, did I want to like ruin her day? Like, because once again, now we're talking about, I wonder how she responded to that.
Right.
Well, and,
So how did that
and
affect
that's
the rest of
crazy
her
to
day?
hear. And that's crazy for me to hear from you. I mean,
Right.
because with me and you, you'll be however you feel that day, and we'll be how we feel that day a little bit with each other. But I know you care about your coworkers' opinions like the utmost, and how
Yeah,
you treat
yeah.
others. You were literally called charming,
Oh.
and another's good word.
Ooh.
Get your ass up. You know, but like, and I was like, wow, you know, and I was like, he tries to be that enough to where that's just naturally how it comes off. So to hear you treat a worker like that is
I mean,
crazy.
we all have bad days, and that's what we're talking about. How do you come
Right.
back from those bad days? Like I don't even remember what I did after that. I think I just went back to the office and did some work and pushed through. I didn't do anything special to bounce back. I just used grit, you know, determination just to finish whatever I needed to do for the day and got the hell up out of there. But it don't always work out like that for everybody.
And it
that's
could have
just-
messed up her whole day.
What's up?
And it could have messed up her whole day, right? Like the clock doesn't end when you leave the space.
Right.
Right?
Yeah, she had to keep working. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm sure there were reasons why she didn't refill my coffee in time. They was probably short-staffed. Things that I wasn't considerate of because I was in my own head about my own shit, and all I wanted was some coffee.
Right. Yeah.
Oh,
I'm not a,
go on.
I'm being selfish and I'm really good at it. And those are the moments where I'm like so selfish that I'm not gonna like waste that space, right? Like not without practice, but there's times where even in like the kind of height of the minute where you like want to be angry, I'm like, not worth my time. But it almost comes off more disrespectful because like I become dismissive of it. So like the same situation, but I'm like,
Well, and it's funny because somebody said I treat people. Elisa said I treat people how they treat me, but
Yeah.
I don't think that we can just play that game, kind of, because we don't always know where they're coming from. It could not be directed at us. It's not always that cut
right,
and dry.
but that's her holding the mirror up in front of herself and saying that's how she handles that. And so, right or wrong, indifferent, no judgment. We all trying to talk about, you know, the things that trip us up during the day, the things that could cause us to not finish on a positive note, not to go to bed in a good space. You know how we come back from those things.
yeah. And
We're
it's
talking
not that
about
I'm
how
trying.
we do that.
It's not that I'm trying to be rude. It's just like I was taught that, you know, not engaging with it is more respectful, right? Like to not say something. What is that? It's like if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say nothing at all.
That part.
And so I thought I was coming to it correct until someone corrected me and was like, when you don't say anything, it is deafening.
She just
Like,
texted me.
She was waiting for something, and I'm like, can't be bothered, right? So it
Hey,
took me a
baby,
while.
keep waiting. What you say? Time is ticking, baby. I'll be back with you.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Give me 10 of them, and then we can talk about it.
Yeah.
But you're gonna need to let me inhale and exhale a few times. Please. Please.
Right.
Real though, right?
Yeah, deep.
And I mean, I talk about removing myself from situations, but there were a lot of times in the first part of this year where I literally had to just fucking leave. Like, I'm gonna say some shit that I don't want to say. I'm gonna do some shit I don't want to do. And you just got to go breathe, whether that's going to make a phone call to talk to somebody, going on a walk, whatever.
But I think you do a good job of letting it be clear. Like, I think you do a good job of letting
I'm
it
not
be
with
clear.
the bullshit. I say say the drama for your mama real quick.
I think you give off a good aura that's respectful of that. But there's some major examples, I think, to give some examples, right, where people could have chose a different route, right?
Talk about it. Talk about it. Talk about it. Wait.
Mhm.
You're not talking about that famous person, are you?
Oh
You're not
shit.
talking about that famous person. A lot of shit be popping off in hotels. Maybe celebrities got to stop staying in hotels. You know what I mean?
That's the problem.
Or maybe they got to do some self-correction and think about the choices and actions they make. Go on and tell the people who we talking about.
Yeah, just like what kind of decision making led Diddy to do the things he did to Cassie on camera in that hallway of a hotel?
Yeah. It
Like,
happened.
how, like, it doesn't matter how rage filled you get, what you're going through, that kind of stuff doesn't make sense. There's
He definitely wasn't trying to remove himself from the situation. He was reintroducing himself
Over and
yeah.
over
Well,
and over.
and it's funny because here's the correlation. When I read "Put myself first always,"
Yeah.
putting yourself first leads you to not be in situations like that. He literally had disregard for himself,
Yeah.
for her,
Yeah.
for where he was, for everything at that moment.
It's
He
bigger
did
and
not.
deeper than that for me, but I want to let KC get a chance to chime in.
I feel like there's a luxury though in anonymity. Like we have the luxury of doing stuff like that and no one knows, right? And so in that moment, he wasn't being considerate of himself and anybody else. However, he doesn't have the luxury of being able to walk away from it and it never being an issue again, right? So it's human nature is human nature. It's just human doing human things. Those things happen.
Mhm.
It doesn't make them right. And it doesn't make them, I mean, I can't say it doesn't make them wrong because that was like messed up. But the reality is that things like that happen all the time and it's not
Yeah.
talked about and people get a pass because the spotlight's not on them, right?
Hey,
And
I mean,
that's
two
why
football
we're
players come to
talking
mind.
about it in this case of
Mhm.
mental
Football
health.
players come
So
to
many-
mind. Ray
so many-
Rice and Kareem Hunt. Kareem Hunt was able to bounce back. There's a couple
Right.
variables for that. He was younger. You know, he did the whole apology thing. He did the whole going to therapy thing. He did what the public expected him to do, and he was
Right.
able to, you know, kind of rebound and finish his career. Ray Rice ended his career. I don't know if he did the therapy thing or not, but wasn't nobody touching him.
Right. Do you think a lot of that has to do?
Well,
Both of those things, hotels, both of those things, women, both of those things,
Right.
domestic violence. Like now you got Diddy, who has been alleged to have done all these things sexually, deviant
Right.
behaviors, some legal, some not legal. He denounced. He said he didn't do this. Right? Remember this allegation was in writing in a lawsuit to which
That's
he
right.
paid off, but he denied the allegations, and the video played out exactly the way it was written.
how it was written
Right.
in the paperwork. Which slow down a little bit, because even part of why obviously there's way more to it.
For
But
sure.
a lot of people make it such a like, I can't believe him and he should be like, but it literally is a moment where he was when you're in a moment of rage like that, you don't care about yourself. And
He's
I
also
think
been
that
empowered to do that. I think his
which
money
we're-
and his status have a lot to do with that.
well, there's a lot, which is part of why he didn't care about himself at that moment. He
He didn't
was
think
so
he needed to. He thought his money could do whatever he needed it to do,
he
including buy
was
the tape,
so
Usher, all that.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
he was breaking things in the hotel. And I think even the aim of conversations like these is so maybe when people get in a tough moment, we can stop them from ending up in handcuffs. and stop them. I've seen positive people fall hard.
But if you switch the person to a male, then all of a sudden it becomes socially more acceptable and a thing that happens all the time, right? Like if you take the context and change it just a little bit, this conversation would be completely different. I'm not saying that it's right or that it's wrong. I don't, obviously, my personal opinion is not applicable in this situation. It's not cool. You don't hit women, but that's one person's opinion. It's a wide opinion.
I think
but the reality is
deeper than him hitting women. Easily, he did way more than that.
Yeah. Well, okay. If we're gonna get into like the topics of sexuality and like paying everybody off and all of that, but again, like he still went into it without regard for the repercussion. And then how do you deal with that? Like if he pays his debt to society, like if he goes to counseling and gets ahead of all of that, then do we get to continue to talk about it and to bring it to light?
Well, because he's not arrested.
Because the statute of limitations have expired, so he cannot be convicted for this crime that he committed because too much time has passed, right? The fact that he was able to do it, the fact that he destroyed the hotel, was destroying property because he knew that he could afford to replace it. He could afford to replace it with better shit than he destroyed. So it goes back to his status. It goes back to his money. It goes back to years of him being able to get what he wants and get his way. And the fact that she wasn't willing to do whatever he wanted him to do, obviously, she's trying to get away from the situation. I don't know what caused her to want to get away, but he wasn't trying to let her go. And he came out there in the bath towel.
In the bath towel. He lost all sorts of reasons. And it's just so in those moments, people with way less to lose. Because I know there's been times where I haven't had that conversation, where I never had a podcast like this to watch that was made by people I looked up to. Yeah. Or, you know what I'm saying? To have me think about my decision making and my future in those moments where we get that mad. We've all been that mad. And that's why Kalisha's like, I mean,
hey,
I can't look. Everybody wants
I threw a couple TVs on the lawn, and we didn't have flat screens back then.
But that's what I mean. Like, it's not to be dismissive of the seriousness of it. I just mean if you put it in to a different space, like if that was in the trailer park, you know, and Bubba with the single wide was popping off to his brother, this conversation wouldn't be happening. But the reality is, it's still two people in a four-wall space, right? Like, why do we take it to such an extreme when like the variables are different?
Well, no, I think we'd be having the same conversation whether he beat a man or a woman. But I do believe you are right in the sense that we do put more emphasis on protecting women,
right?
And the emphasis on not harming them. We are protectors, you know, and that goes back to gender roles and all those sorts of things.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, he could have done all kinds of other things. He literally has the power just as quick to chase a lady down and buy the footage. He could have.
Can you see Todd Jackson's comment? Go ahead and throw that on the screen, man.
If I can finish my statement real quick.
Oh yeah, my bad. Go ahead.
He could have called a friend. He could have flown a friend in. He could have done anything in the universe besides what he chose to do. And I think there's been so many times in my life where all I wanted to do was the saddest possible thing, but didn't even want to recognize my options, like calling over and over again. You don't got to do that, dog.
Oh, blowing somebody up?
Yeah, like sit the fuck down.
You think they're gonna answer, and then what you gonna do when they do? You know, one of the things.
Wait, there's a crisis. There's a crisis. Wait, real quick, Ty, and then we'll get to you, Josh. Josh got to come. Many people with money feel like they're above the law.
I remember mine.
And get away with this type of behavior constantly. I'm glad she finally, and she was a star herself. Imagine if she wasn't clouded up herself.
Not on the same caliber, though. I mean, honestly, like,
I'm saying her voice would have been harder to
Right,
be
I'm about to
heard
say
if she wasn't
we
her.
might not even know about it if she
Yeah.
didn't have no status.
Exactly.
she's
But
still
yo,
wearing the
and what
how
necklace.
high-
Like,
It is.
Josh is having a cookie crisis. How high does he have to turn on the stove?
350.
350
Yeah.
For what?
to bake
Oh,
cookies.
10 to 15 minutes. Depends on what
Yes,
kind.
man.
Yeah, no more than 10 to 12 minutes. Just check them at 10.
Yeah.
And if you want them to be a little crispier, hang around that 12-minute mark. If not, take them out at 10 and let them sit a minute, and you'll get that nice little soft back you're looking for.
All right, y'all. Yo, we are 4 away from 20. We get to 20 people in here.
I
we
appreciate
will
all
be-
y'all tuning in, man.
we will
Rocking with
be-
us on the Case of the Mondays.
We will be giving away some shit, but yeah, it's not the weed kind of cookies, Cecilia. What up? We got Biggie in the building. Shout out to him. He's put out a mental health track that's wild. The music
Nice.
video is wild. He's a wild boy.
So I want to do a little redirection and a follow-up with Miss KC, and then I think we all need to chime in. We heard you talk about being selfish and taking that time to kind of
Right.
regroup and rebound and bounce back, if you will, as that's the topic for the night. But talk about, what that looks like in practicality. How can other people apply it to what they do? How can all of us be a little more selfish in those moments?
So there's the few basic ones, right? And it's like counting to 10. So in that exact moment, I have no problem taking tail, turning, and counting to 10. And sometimes that's 10 seconds, sometimes that's 10 minutes, sometimes that's 10 hours, but that's up to me to decide depending on the situation.
Sure.
And people can get mad and angry and frustrated, and that's okay because I have to keep my cup full in order to keep everybody else's cup full. I know that I can speak for a lot of people when you're running a household or a business. At the end of the day, if I don't have it together, then nobody has it together, and that vibe goes real deep on both ends. So if we take 10 to come back around, then we're more productive, the vibe's happy. And honestly, like in that 10, it's up to you to decide whether that looks like. For me, it's rebuilding my calendar and prioritizing. Like, clearly I'm upset. I need to knock a couple of these things that are not that important off the list so that I can give quality over quantity. So be it.
Yeah. I was gonna say there's definitely some intentionality that I think comes into play, right? When you're trying to bounce back, because the idea is that you're not giving control or power to something else to mess up what you got going on, right?
Exactly.
You are purposeful. You have a plan for the day. There are things that need to get done. There are people who need help, right? And allowing something to throw you off track for 10 minutes or 10 hours, like that could be tough, right? But we have to do it so that we can refocus that energy back into the right way.
That's right. Yeah. And depending on the situation, obviously, like if we're looking at like a 24-hour span, it's going to look like 10 minutes because I don't have time to be out there flailing around trying to act like it's not a big deal. Obviously, if it's something that's like, a festival or something that's bigger that needs to be addressed in like, maybe 10 hours, that's fine too. But it needs to be realistic to the situation ultimately.
And so, which you said something, your vibe has to be right or it doesn't get done, right? And that leads to what happens when you don't react well. The bridges that are burned, you can lose your source of income.
Yeah,
you can lose a friendship. You can literally lose anything based off of and not to it's a really fine line because some people need to be cut the fuck off and it's not always your fault. And even that, that's the whole thing. I think so many times it comes in picking the woo-saw route. And it's sometimes these points come with cutting motherfuckers off and making tough decisions to carry on, and to get healthy ways to be able to do that, and to grow and respond correctly, and that you're comfortable with, and don't feel like a pussy or a bitch choosing, because we have to. This world will run all over you if you don't.
There is a correct response though, right? Like the positive, negative, positive sandwich when it comes to like filtering people out. Like there is protocol and procedure that you can, I mean, I don't know if it's like public knowledge, but it's definitely is in you know, business school. Like there is a proper way to respond where you can get the most output for problem solving that situation. Because if you're, I mean, say you work 9 to 5, you don't have time to sit there and be petty over things, right? We need to get back to work. Maybe if the day ends at 5 and we're sitting there on a lunch break trying to sort through something, or someone needs to use the washroom, but they're the only person there or whatever. Like you need to problem solve in the moment because you need to make the most out of that day. There is a healthy and productive way to sandwich what you're looking for to get that result for sure.
I think that also is like honing in on what you're able to do in the moment, right? You're not always able to remove yourself completely from the situation. You might need to go get a bathroom real quick. You might need to go get a drink real quick. And then sometimes you got to get right back in there. Like sometimes you don't have the luxury of taking a long time to reset or doing what you really need to do to reset. Sometimes you can reset enough to just get back in the fire.
Yeah.
Especially when it comes to work, right? Because a lot of times at work, you cannot, like, especially when people are counting on you, like, you can't always just up and be gone.
And that's when I rely on things like self-promises. And I mean, they can get carried away, but with self-care and self-promises, it's like, okay, if you're going to get back in there, wipe your tears, you know, tits and teeth, as my grandma says, right? You got to rock it with your tits and teeth. Like if you have the tits and teeth moment. Yeah, totally. Yeah. Shout out to grandma for sure. But yeah, if it's a tits and teeth moment, then you just, you know, you can use self-care tips like, once we're done, once this moment is over, you know what I mean? Like white knuckle, grin and bear it. But at the end of the day,
telling yourself how long it will be,
yeah,
things like that. I only got to deal with it for this long.
Right.
But we were talking about consequences. Can you give an example, Kalisha, where you lost something due to how you decided to handle a situation?
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I have made the mistake on a few occasions of when someone is causing stress in my life to just relinquish them with the stress. Unfortunately, that looks like to me material items. So for example, if someone is like, you know, heavy pressure. Let's just use an outfit, for example. If there's pressure around an outfit that someone needs to borrow for an occasion, which happens a lot when you're a female, instead of dealing with it, I'll just keep the outfit, keep the shoes, keep the hat, keep the car, keep the whatever, and just walk away. And unfortunately, that it results in me not having maybe those possessions or those sentimental items, or, you know. Yeah.
So avoid like the confrontation over it. Like,
100%.
You have decided that the energy isn't worth getting the item back.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. And like for some people that looks like freaking out, but for me, it just looks like avoidance. Right. And it results with the same thing. So
I guess it depends if it truly is or not. Right. Because sometimes it can be a non-confrontational avoidant thing. And sometimes it's just going, I'm not, you know what? I ain't going to loan them nothing else. I learned my lesson. I'm not going to give them that energy. Let them go on and do them. I don't hate them or nothing, but you ain't getting nothing from me no more.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
It's funny because even with Milk, he'll like explain a situation like that. And I don't know. It's really weird because sometimes it would be better to say it. And then sometimes it's such a temporary situation that it's not worth it to mention it, or where it benefits in, like, okay, one time me and Milk were Milk was like, man, I'm not ready to do this show. And then, so we got on the show, right? And what does the co-host or the host of that show say about Milk? Milk is always ready. And I'm like,
one of my
this motherfucker right here. And I'm like, that's a lie. And then I realized,
I am.
nah. Because if you make people feel that way and you pull it off, like, boom, quick vent, lock in.
Yeah.
So even
Let's
if
go.
he's, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? What he said was the lie. You know?
And
he
that, but that's the thing. Like, we put ourselves out there like that.
I mean, go ahead. I'm cutting you off.
No. I'll be cutting off all the time. It's my bad. I'll talk right over top of both of you. But it's like when you confide in your friend or your partner or your, you know what I mean, on any level, like those are like those honest moments. Like you're like, this ain't it. I need a second. But you perform every single time. Like those moments, I feel like are so like vulnerable because they only come out to the people that are like next to you. And I mean that in both like
Right. There's a
metaphorically
reason
and
why
physically.
I'm always ready is because I'm not going to let people see me not.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? And so for me to have that emotion and to have a feeling of anxiety of not being prepared, right? That was a vulnerable moment. You're right. Yeah, for sure. Which I don't allow most people to see me like that.
Yeah, that's right.
And just, it was so funny how I handled it, but like how I felt at first. And then I also learned a lot about like, you don't necessarily always have to wear, you know, like pick and choosing your battles a little bit and being more strategic.
We talked about that, right? Picking your battles for sure, right? So like if it's an instance where you've loaned a power tool to somebody, they didn't give it back, depending on what that relationship is really like, depends what energy you're going to give it and how bad you want that power tool back, right? Or that dress or whatever you're talking about. But then if you're talking about relationships with like family members or a spouse or a child, like sometimes you're automatically going to give those things more energy because you are more vested in those relationships. You want to preserve those relationships. You don't want there to be misconceptions. You want there to be understandings so that you know how to move within those relationships, right? So that's where you give that energy, but you're not always going to give it to somebody who you mess with on the fringe.
Yeah.
Shout out Tattoo Baby. Yeah. And I don't quite skis. D skis GMMM.
I thought she was about to pass out or something. I thought he was having an aura. I thought this was an aura.
Nah.
You gotta speak. You gotta speak Klingon.
But yeah, he agreed, and then he said, "No, roll up," which is the motherfucking facts. But yeah,
we haven't even talked about that yet, though. I mean, how many of us, cope with a little bit of them trees in the evening?
Well, and I also feel like that's a good transition too to talk about, and that example is a good transition to talk about the benefits of handling situations gracefully. You can never lose.
That's right. Yeah. I mean, it doesn't really matter how you go about it, right? If you come out on the other side, maybe that weed whacker is not such a big deal if the rest of your life is less stressful with that person in it in both ways, right?
Well, and I'm going to dial it back a little bit because when I cut you off and then cut you back in, one of the things I was going to say is, what is the desired outcome you're looking for? Right? And in my mind, and I've said that to Daz before.
I never think about that, Milk.
I'm going for what is my desired outcome.
No, I never think about that.
Right?
I never think about that. I've started to think about that. But initially, it's, my desired outcome, because I did think about it. What do you call this, Milk, right? Where my desired outcome is to cuss a motherfucker out.
Oh, that is a real thing. We can make decisions that are destructive.
Yes.
Right? For sure. We can be self-sabotaging. We can pour that negative energy into other people. We can bring it into the room with us. We can be destructive for sure. Sometimes, right? It bites you in the ass a little more than the pleasure you get from being able to say fuck you.
Right.
You have to be willing to lose a relationship, to lose a job. And I'm not going to say that I haven't been in positions where I have been willing to do that.
Well,
but that doesn't mean that you don't struggle, right? And it doesn't take you longer to bounce back when you decided to have a moment of self-gratification because you thought saying fuck you, or you thought doing what you was going to do versus what was supposed to be done. You thought that was better.
And it's funny, right? Because like that's the difference between short-term and long-term goals. It really is what it comes down to. And what goal is more important to you? Okay, and this gives me a good moment to tell a funny story, right? So, and you gave a great, losing a job. I came into work early one time because I needed to eat before
He went up in there, clocked in, and made some food. Wait, no, I don't know the story.
I didn't clock in. Nah, I'm not that kind of guy.
That's something I would have done. I would have clocked in.
You ignorant.
And made something to go home. Drop a comment. Kristen Cullen, you still out there? Tell them about them Dairy Queens. Them late nights from McDonald's.
Hell no.
I wish paycheck wasn't enough, player. We coming up out of there with some things.
I wish I worked there. I wish I knew you during there. I would have said,
hey man, I used to wake my brothers up at 11 o'clock at night on a school night. Like, you want a blizzard?
You want a blizzard?
But yeah, so I'm working at Domino's at the time. Actually, my manager at the time, he's like my best friend ever. Yo, he had me. I gotta make sure. Milk, talk for a second. I gotta make sure he's here. Go on.
Look what the man. How the man just gonna check out in the middle of the episode and then tell me to just keep on talking like I can't just talk today.
Hilarious. Yeah, I don't.
Don't let him come back in. Me and you got this.
Yeah, 100%.
Say something, just cut right back in on him, okay? Just me and you right here. Just me and you right here.
I was thinking about like self. Oh.
Nope. What were you thinking about? I'm sorry. What were you thinking about?
The difference between like self gratification, and then like your bigger picture. So if in the moment, like, so when I was talking about being selfish earlier, I'm like, okay, but is my end goal to take over the world? Because I'm not going to give people that energy in this minute, right? But if my self-serving, self-gratitude, good moment to myself is to tell someone where to go and how to get there, then yeah, it's going to look a hell of a lot different. But anyways, back to you, Daz. Welcome home.
Wait, I'm cutting you off. I'm cutting you off because I'm going to sometimes you have to postpone self-gratification because sometimes you can still get what you want if you play the long game.
Long game all day.
Look,
you gotta play the long game sometimes.
I guess I hate postponing self-gratification. There is nothing worse than it's right in front of me. Why do I gotta postpone what's right in front of me?
Sometimes you don't have to create the opportunity. Sometimes it just comes right back. And then you just locked in. You ain't even gotta say nothing. At this point, you could just blink.
Yeah. We're all in here blinking and winking, talking Morse code.
But to keep my story, because it's a great story, and he was in here the whole damn time. So he was my homie. He hired me on at Domino's. I was the worst Domino's employee ever. He made me feel like a great employee. He picked up the slack. That man motherfucker didn't even make me do like the night before you leave checkout stuff to everywhere.
Post
He
shift.
wasn't mopping. He didn't wipe nothing down.
No.
No, I couldn't even make a pizza.
I couldn't even
I
make
swear,
you were
I-
like Domino's.
What did you do while you were there?
I answered
Trust
the
cheese.
motherfucking phone. That man loves me so damn much. He had me up in that mother answering the goddamn phones.
Working admin at Domino's.
Probably the
Oh,
worst
gosh.
thing they could do, put you in customer service.
Everybody who called knew me. They'd be like, Brandon, that's it.
Oh, now they want to hook up.
He probably, I just remembered he let me give him. He couldn't reach anything. Niggas got jokes. All right.
I was gonna say he couldn't reach the counter, but I was like, no, save it for later.
Too easy.
But
Too
somebody
easy.
just beat me to the punch. If you open the door, if you just crack that motherfucker, I'm gonna boot it open.
So the other employees hated me. Hated.
As they should have.
Yes. I didn't understand it, but I'm a fight. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, just my lack of understanding. I came in there early with my homie, whatever,
Not you brought somebody else in to eat too.
Yeah.
To make me something to eat, and now you done brought a friend who gonna eat too.
It was about 30 minutes early,
Okay, this
too.
story's getting better.
Yeah, it was a wide span of time early. Possibly like 45 early. But so
Okay.
And my homie wasn't there at the time. And so, what up, Trippy? I see
So
it.
you ain't even got your protective
I
cover.
didn't have no protection. No security. You didn't need security.
For so
Look.
long, you don't even think you need protection.
I didn't need security. That nigga ended up.
You run this store. This is my shit, huh?
Yeah. So but chill. Hold on. I gotta put my glasses back on.
Oh, he getting back in the mindset of when he
No.
ran that joint.
No, I'm sitting there making my food. He's making some food for a customer next to me. He's like talking shit. Like, damn, why the fuck are you here? So I'm like, this motherfucker, he said some wild shit. And my homie's in the lobby, hearing all this. The guy leaves, and I'm in there still making my food because I'm at least going to finish making my food first. And so I put it in the oven, and I asked my homie out there, I'm like, yo, was that mad disrespectful or what? And he said, yeah.
And he amped you smooth up.
Amped me smooth.
You know that's what the homie gonna do. Or is that a homie? But keep going.
So the second I said, say less. I go back there to talk. I grab this motherfucker by the shirt, and I want to say something so bad. I couldn't find a fucking word. And so I punched him into the boxes. The stack of boxes. The boxes fell. I told my homie, we gotta go.
We gotta go.
Because I couldn't drive at this time either. It's the whole reason I was there early. He couldn't drop me off later.
Oh, which is why you're feeding him, because that's the gas money.
Yeah.
Oh, it all makes sense.
Cash.
And then the homie came out.
He
sweating
wasn't-
you. Then you snatched him up. Couldn't get a word out. And let that be a lesson to y'all. If dads can't get a word out, get some distance. He might punch your ass. Couldn't get a word out.
And so, yeah, they sped off. I went to my dad's house. I hid out for I hid out for
I bet they
3
didn't even call the
days.
police, did they?
Yeah,
Had
hell
you
yeah,
Had you spooked though?
bro.
Oh, they was looking for you?
Bro,
Domino
hold
boxes
on.
Got you
everywhere. Of course, they called us
Ah,
destruction.
Can I finish?
No
Can I
diddy.
finish my story? Can I finish my story?
Oh,
So
go
I hid
ahead.
out. I hid out for 2 days at my dad's. Shout out Melissa Michael. I hid out over there. She was the homie. And then so I go home one day that night, late at night, right? And I wake up early the next morning and I roll a blunt. Okay. And all of a sudden, there was a knock at my motherfucking door. Okay. Hold on, I gotta tag this person real quick. Milk, tell a quick story real quick. I'm joking. I was joking. I was joking.
I need 10 minutes. I need to count to 10 all of a sudden.
I was
Sorry, not available. I'm being selfish. That's what I mean. Yo, we appreciate y'all tapping in. I see my uncle in the building. What's going on, man? It's a case of the Mondays. This is the mental health episode. We're talking about how you bounce back from those things that could throw your whole day off. I know for you, Unc, getting into prayer and trusting in the Lord is big. We ain't even really hint on any of that tonight, but religion,
we're
going
doing
on
a
that
lot of
higher
part
power,
twos.
asking for the strength. Lord, give me the strength to get through this nonsense.
So I rolled the blunt. I heard the knock. I put it in my trash can, and I knock and I open up the door, and it's a girl I named one of my albums after in 7th grade at my door, who I've never seen in years. Okay, she's at my door, and I'm like, "Why are you here?" Right next to her, behind her, like beside the door, was the sheriff arresting me. And they took me and they were like, hey, they showed the picture of the guy's lip busted as evidence. And I had to do weekends.
Of instant gratification.
I had to do weekends in jail. And these were long-term consequences, fines, all that. And there was so many elements in that story from my friend amping me up. And I had so many opportunities to handle it properly.
Yeah.
And to be accountable.
Yeah.
You would have still had your job, and homie lip wouldn't have been split, and then you wouldn't have had to come up off a couple of bands and spend a few weekends in jail.
Look,
do you think it's fair though? Like, when that happens and you do weekends and you pay off your debt to society, right? Do you think it's fair that you still pay for that in like the way of maybe having like a criminal record? Whereas if it never went to that level, right? But there was the same situation and you just hit someone in the face and no cops were involved, and you said sorry, it would be over. Like, do you think that it's not, I guess what I'm asking is like, do you think it's not fair that if it doesn't get to a criminal level that it ends after the sorry is said? Whereas if it's illegal.
Right,
well, there's ways to do that. But they don't make them very known. There's ways to get things expunged.
Right.
But yeah, and little stupid stuff like that has followed me my whole life. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you look me up, I'm a petty criminal because of bad decision making.
Yeah.
And like
all motivated for different reasons, right? Trying to not be disrespected, trying to not look like you got punked, to like it's a million reasons why people respond negatively, trying to save face or look cool in front of somebody, not even thinking about, they wasn't in there doing weekends with you.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I find it frustrating that there's just like, you can have the same situation, but based on like your demographic, your, geographic, your whatever, like the consequences can range from like, I'm saying I'm sorry all the way to like, serving time. I think it's ridiculous.
Yeah. I mean, you're right in some instances, but at the same time, I think depending on the level of violence displayed,
Mhm.
I mean, there are things in life that I think are worth knowing if someone has a violent past,
Right. Okay.
especially if it's a recent violent past. Now, if we want to talk politics, which this show really isn't designed to do, I think maybe depending on like if it's domestic violence, I don't think there's an expiration on that. But other, battery, maybe there's 7-10 years, something like that, where then it falls off or whatever if you don't have any repeat offenses or whatever.
Right.
I think there's always room for reform, and I think people should always be given the opportunity to have a second chance. But I also think that there is value in knowing and whether or not somebody is a repeat offender.
Right. Because that really goes into like how quickly we bounce back from some of these decisions, right? Like some of them, I mean, they're all bounce backable, but not all of them can you, maybe fully recover from, right? Like some people's choices end them missing legs or, missing kids
in that
or
one
whatever.
little in that one little situation of stupidity, and it's so trivial, it does follow you your whole life, and it's weird. That's weird.
I mean, the job I just came off of, the homeless shelter that I was working at, one of the conditions to get in was you couldn't have any violent crimes within the last 3 years or no pattern of crimes. And then that's to interpretation of what a pattern looked like.
Oh, okay, so, interesting.
And that's fair,
denied shelter based on that type of thing.
Oh, but that's all. What up, Jerry Reese? We see you in the motherfucker.
I mean, it's fair, but people
Ricky
need these.
Nelson? And shout out, Josh, talking about it's the Napoleon. But yeah,
the way folks do business, I mean, there's pros and cons for everything. And once again, I can make arguments for both sides.
That's true.
Safe. I'm grateful that there was other places that individuals who fell in that category could go.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, because that's already a place of low opportunity.
Right.
So just to move forward a little bit and to get on the final part, which is a high note, what are the positives of Jerry Reese said you look like Snow the product. That's funny.
Who, me?
Yeah.
Love her. I got mad respect for Snow. Thank you. Very flattering.
Yeah.
But yeah, what are the benefits of dealing with things positive, and what's a time where how you've handled something positive has benefited you? Let's go, man. I damn near deserve to tell a positive story after the last one.
After that 25-minute story going to jail on the weekends. I think what we've learned, and we hinted at this a little bit already, but we've talked about the things that trigger us. We talked about being selfish and taking the time that you need to bounce back so that you can bounce back. We talked about handling things negatively and the consequences that come from that. But at the same time, doing it the right way, it increases the likelihood that you will preserve relationships, that you will maintain your reputation, that you will, be gainfully employed, which we don't even talk about that, which, like I said, coming out of homeless services not too long ago, thinking about you punch your boss, you lose your job, you go to jail, you don't have a friend or family member that you can stay with no more, your bills is getting behind, now you ain't got nowhere to live, right? So, like, thinking about the consequences of those decisions and where it really could lead you. Now, some of us can punch our boss, lose our job, and we got friends and family who would be like, you know what? You can come till you get back on your feet. But even then, you can only do that so many times before people get tired of you. And so, taking the time
literally
the right way to respond appropriately is what leads to winning, right?
Well, because it's kind of like a muscle. It's kind of like Yeah, yeah. And I love Jerry and his honesty. He said was there 10 years ago. Yeah, because if you don't work it, it gets weaker every time. You can't
Yeah.
use the same excuses. You know, you can't speak to the same people about the same problems. Like, you know, and so, but if you work it the opposite, your opportunities grow. The amount of
Right.
people that you have to work with grows. Like just everything expands versus closing off and
I
isolating.
see you, Syph, out there. What's going on with you, Pimp? The boss definitely be holding your fate in their hands, boy.
Oh man, that's why I try to be the boss right there.
And Unc, you right too. You grown. Behaviors are important, right? Your mama tell you when you're young, think before you speak. Think before you do something, right? And I think, somewhere along the way that message gets lost. But, for the people who are out here with healthy relationships, who are thinking big picture, who are looking for long-term success, they're intentional about thinking before they do. And
Yeah.
Diddy wasn't thinking. Daz wasn't thinking. I wasn't thinking a lot of times. I'm sure KC could talk about when she wasn't thinking. But
Mhm.
we also learn from those things. And we also want something different, which goes back to what is your desired outcome? What are you looking to have happen here? Are you trying to feel good in the moment, or are you trying to win down the line?
Facts.
Facts. Yeah.
Get up and try again.
Yeah.
And that's Aaliyah, not
Oh, not
That's-
Destiny Child. I ain't even keep reading. The first part was so good, I ain't even keep going.
Syph, chill, Syph. He said, I feel big Crip energy in the look. Hold on, we gotta get you out of here. We gotta protect our ladies.
No, wait a minute.
This is the end of the episode.
Get out of here.
We just joking.
This man right here tripping. 12
We-
people
Jokes.
I just seen the
You know what,
comment.
Cody?
I didn't know if that was a good thing or a bad thing. I just knew that I knew what he was talking about.
Just
'Cause
life. It's just life.
You got the bandana top.
I got my dress on.
Folks can't even wear a
Oh,
good
it's a-
bandana top in Canada.
It's a bandana dress.
I got my dress on.
A dress.
A
Okay.
bandana dress. Okay. What up, Bo in the building?
What's the word?
When y'all just think about when y'all get in these situations, just think about the things you love and whether or not your decision is keeping you further from them
Well, and
or bringing you closer to
let's dial this back even further. The point of this show is to dig deeper, self-improvement, right? Addressing mental health. And so at the end of the day, yeah, doing the right thing is going to get the outcome that you're looking for, but it goes back to being intentional. It goes about developing those muscles that it requires to have the discipline to utilize your coping skills, get back in the fight, not let it destroy your day. And while you're trying to have a good day, try not to destroy other people's along the way.
I mean, but even what I meant when I said that was like, hey, like, I love my kids.
Right.
Will this decision keep me from my kids? Hey, I really love no booze. Will this decision keep me from being able to eat no booze? And if the answer is yes, reevaluate it. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what and even that simple. Yo, is this going to stop me from being able to do my podcast? Will I feel silly while I'm on my podcast if I do this? Hey, will I destroy a whole legacy of East Coast rap that I built if I like?
That's a little bit of a stretch at the end, but we'll let you go with it. Legacy, but the whole East Coast? Nah.
I was like, are we making this a West Coast thing right now? Like, easy.
Oh, I was talking about Diddy though. On the East.
Oh, yeah. I thought we were still talking about flags. I was
She's
like,
still thinking about her gang, but she's still thinking. Oh my God, she's still thinking about Tristan. Get her out of here. Syph, she's never gonna be on the show again. Okay.
You're right. Misery does love company.
Okay.
You got to be strategic. You can't let other people drag you down for sure.
We don't do none of that brap around here.
Y'all tripping.
No. I do think it's important though, like if you do make the mistake to learn how to be comfortable in that gray space, and that, you know, because the more you learn how to be comfortable there, the quicker you are to apologize and make right, because we don't when we don't want to deal with it. But the minute that you realize it's just about sitting with that feeling, that ugly feeling that makes our stomachs flip and our head turn around, the quicker you are to mend those bridges, fences, whatever.
Well, and like realizing that there's more important things than being right in the moment.
Yeah.
There's bigger wins to be had. You don't always have to win in the moment. You can lose a little battle and still win a war, if you will.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
All right, y'all. It's been fun.
Yeah, I think it's about that time. We're at hour 16 in. This might be the longest A Case of the Mondays ever. We might have to go back and check this one. But it's been a good conversation, y'all. Appreciate y'all tapping in. We had some first-time viewers. Make sure y'all tap in every Monday at 8 p.m. Central Time, 9 p.m. Eastern. And we have to say 7 p.m. Mountain Time now that we got KC on the team all the way from our friends up north in Canada. Yo, tap in with us every Monday. We talking mental health. It's all about growth and progress. Y'all be greasy out here. Because
I almost said Crody on this motherfucker.
Like an old BET kind of commercial, y'all. We gonna go ahead and we're out of here, guys. Peace,
love
and
y'all.
happiness.
Hey,
make somebody's
be in
day.
the moment. Appreciate the moment. We only live once. I appreciate us all.